Good morning, everyone. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chin here again today from the Nothing But Facts podcast. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. No, it's been a couple of days since we talked, but we are going to jump right into it. So much transfer portal conversation, news, some people were trying to get poached from leaving the NFL draft. We'll talk about all of that and more today. I hope you guys are doing well this Wednesday. Couple of days left away before we have the biggest game of the season, the national championship. But a lot of people are talking about, man, is this national championship game being played a little bit too late? I definitely understand everybody's frustration. Man, I wish these games could be played a little bit earlier. And on a Monday night, come on now, let's have this national championship game on a Saturday night. Let's go ahead and jump right in. A lot of movement as of late. Cam Coleman, he was the number one player in the portal. Depending on who you talk to, he is now going to take his talents to Texas. There was a lot of conversation regarding Cam Coleman, obviously, and him being linked to Alabama because his former wide receiver coach, Derek Nix, he's now the wide receiver coach at Alabama. So everyone thought that, oh, this is sort of set in stone. He's just going to leave Auburn and go to his crosstown rivalry in Alabama. That's just not what happened. And from what I read and from what I understand from Cam Coleman, he wanted to go to a quarterback room that was set. Not saying there's no quarterbacks on the Alabama roster. Obviously, that's not true. You have Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. But he wanted to go to a school where they knew who the starter was. We still don't know who the starter is. That could be Austin Mack. That could be Keelan Russell. Whoever it is, he wanted clarity. And you cannot fault this guy for having that sort of mentality, given the fact the awful quarterback play that he's been with at Auburn for the last 2 years. Peyton Thorne, I mean, everyone has conversations about him, but Peyton Thorne was not that good of a quarterback, right? Let's just keep it real. The Jackson Arnold experience this year was not a good one. Then you had Ashton Daniels. There was a revolving door at quarterback, and this guy still happened to have 12 career touchdowns in 2 years with that, up and down quarterback play. So I'm excited for Cam Coleman. You can tell that Steve Sarkisian, his staff, Brandon Harris, their GM, their general manager, happened to be in Austin 2 years ago and saw how they work and just how they operate. Just Texas is going all in on Arch Manning. It's clear. It's obvious. They want to win now. They know they have Arch Manning for possibly one more year, depending on how things play out next year. But they want to win now. And it's totally understandable. The moves that they've made, Texas has made a lot of moves. Texas made a lot of moves. Hollywood Smothers, right? He was signed with Alabama and somehow got to Austin. Raleek Brown, also too, very productive back from Arizona State. He happened to sign with Texas. Rasheem Biles, first team All-ACC linebacker. I mean, this guy makes a lot of plays all over the field. Was just a tremendous talent at Pittsburgh, one of the highlights of their defense. Justin Cryer happens to be a linebacker from Florida State. Big time production. Bo Masco as well, honorable Big Ten All-Mention at cornerback. This dude was a shutdown for the Scarlet Knights. So it's obvious, right? They want to win now. They don't have time to wait till 2027. They don't have time. They want to win in 2026, and it's evident. And you got to give credit to where it's due because they've been doing a really good job. You now have Cam Coleman. You have Ryan Wingo, Raleek Brown, and you still have Hollywood Smothers in the backfield. This Texas offense should be an explosive group next year. We'll see what happens. Sam Leavitt is another name that we've been hearing so much about regarding, his services, his availability. What about Sam Leavitt? And clearly, he wanted to play in the SEC. And I think that's what everyone sort of knew, guessed. It was either between LSU or Tennessee or Kentucky, I think. But, Kentucky already got their guy in Kenny Minchie. So I like Sam Leavitt going to LSU. I think the question with me still remains the same. The medicals have been to me, have been a little bit concerning for a guy who has been that productive. And we have to also think about, he is now going into another great quarterback room. He had Marcus Arroyo at Oregon, from my understanding. He had Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. And now you walk into Lane Kiffin's offensive room at LSU. So hopefully when he gets to the NFL, if he goes to the NFL, he is going to be very, very much prepared to going to that next level. So Sam Leavitt going to LSU. Lane Kiffin has his future quarterback. Seems like it's his job to lose, right? So we'll see about that. I want to talk about Chaz Coleman. This was one that I was very, very surprised with, because from all the conversation that we heard about Chaz Coleman was he was going to go to the Ohio State. That's what it seemed like. And that's not what happened. He followed his former defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles. He is now the DC at Tennessee, and he followed him. And Tennessee has another team that has done the damn thing in the portal. Tennessee has done an outstanding job, in the portal of getting really good players. TJ Metcalf, very productive player. I mean, you see what they've done on defense, getting those guys from Penn State, poaching those guys from Penn State. Defense will not be a problem in Knoxville as long as Jim Knowles is the defensive coordinator. I can't speak on Tim Banks. I don't know him personally. That profile of defense just wasn't going to work at Tennessee. It just wasn't. They had a pretty good year in 2024, making it to the college football playoff, top 10 scoring defense in America, and they just fell off a cliff. Tennessee just fell off a cliff on defense. I believe they've made a very, very high investment. I mean, you see this list of guys that they have: safety, edge, linebacker, lineman, corner, safety. Like, there is a blatant understanding that defense was a problem. And still, quarterback also for Tennessee still is a question. We don't know who their quarterback is. The quarterback for Tennessee for 2026 might not be on the roster right now. So we'll see what happens. But defensively, Tennessee is not going to take a back seat. They've really done their due diligence. Jim Knowles coming in is going to do a good job of elevating this defense to where it needs to be. I want to talk about Damon Wilson. This was a very productive edge player coming from Mizzou. He first started at Georgia, came over to Mizzou, and this guy dominated. He led the SEC in sacks, 9.5 sacks, and he is now entering the portal. Everyone, from what I've read, Alabama seems to be heavily involved here, and so they need to, because they lost some guys. I don't want to say key guys, Quay Rousseau and James Smith, but you add this guy, Damon Wilson, alongside Yanze Pierre, who's going to play that wolf position in Ken Womack's defense. I mean, Yanze Pierre and Damon Wilson, this is going to be a pass rush tandem, I think, that Alabama desperately needs. They needed a pass rush specialist. Yanze Pierre was that at times. He showed a lot of flashes. I think in his junior year, he could put it together and be a consistent pass rusher. But I'm talking about a guy who you can count on him to get to the quarterback at any given time. Damon Wilson, he's that guy. He is good. I remember watching him at Georgia, and he played a major, major part into why Mizzou was successful this year. So want to see definitely where this goes, but I think he is a very, extremely productive player. Talking about production, we have Jordan Seaton, freshman, first-team All-American, All-American tackle from Colorado. This guy has been a starter since he stepped foot on campus. I remember during the recruiting period, his recruiting cycle, I think Coach Sanders, Coach Prom said, yo, you going to start with us from day one. You going to start. And that's what he did. He was a 2-year starter. And he's entering the portal now. And from everything that I've read, LSU and Miami and Texas seem to be very, very much interested in Jordan Seaton. Now, I'm telling you now, you plug him into your offensive line increased by 15 plus points. He is that good. He makes everyone around him better. I love watching offensive line play. That's my, I don't want to say my specialty. That is my specialty. I don't want to say my expertise. That's my specialty. I love watching offensive and defensive line. Jordan Seaton is a problem. This guy's a problem. He's a problem. He is on your offensive line. Trust me, your offensive line group will improve. He is that good. And wherever he goes, whether it's Miami, whether it's Ole Miss, whether it's LSU, he's going to be a very, very well-known household name. He will. He will. I like Ole Miss. I think if he goes to Ole Miss, he will compete for an SC championship in year one. I think Ole Miss is really doing a good job in the portal. But we'll see about Jordan Seaton. Very extremely productive player, 6'5", 305, 15 pounds. I think this guy is going to be a really good player for wherever team he goes to. Whew, we are going right along. Byron Brown, talked about him previously. This guy has I really like Byron Brown. I think Alex Golesh hit on this quarterback in the portal. You look at Auburn's quarterback play over the last 4 years, over the last 5 years, whatever you want to say, there is not a player as successful as Byron Brown coming into this locker room. There hasn't been, and there will not be since Cam Newton. I'm sorry, I have to go. I'll say Nick Marshall. I don't want to say Cam Newton. Since Nick Marshall, there has not been a quarterback with Auburn. I mean, people want to say Bo Nix, but Bo Nix left. Byron Brown is the complete package. This guy brings over 70 touchdowns, 7,000 career yards. He knows the system, and Auburn needs something to cheer for. This program has not gone bowling for 4 years. They haven't gone to a bowl game for 4 years. I expect this team to be bowl eligible in 2026. That could be 6 wins. That could be 7 wins. But this team will go bowling in 2026. I'm silently rooting for Auburn in 2026 just because I really enjoy Alex Golesh. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in America. Really did a good job at USF. I expect him to do a good job at Auburn. We are still moving along. Coy Parrish, the Minnesota safety, wide receiver, defensive back, kick returner, all-purpose athlete. Coy Parrish, he is committed to Oregon. Seems like Oregon is going to go this route sometimes, and there's no problem with that. They did the same thing last year with Dylan Thieneman when he came in from Purdue. Dylan Thieneman had you saw him in that Penn State game, having that game-saving, game-changing, game-winning interception. And now you bring in a dynamic athlete like Coy Parrish who can help you on both sides of the football. I'm not saying that Oregon needs help on both sides of the football, but he is a dynamic player. I'm sure that Dan Lanning and this team, they're going to find ways to use him on the offensive side. But you definitely need a safety like Coy Parrish, a guy who can hit you really hard, and he can defend in different ways. I'm really looking forward to Coy Parrish with the Oregon Ducks. And last but not least, we have Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola has found a way. He is going to Oregon, and he is going to take a redshirt year. This is seemingly what some quarterbacks are doing now. We saw Matthew Van Buren doing it last year at LSU. Unfortunately, Garrett Nussmeier got hurt, so it didn't kind of work out the way he wanted. But Dante Moore did this at Oregon. He came in last year, sat behind Bo Nix, and it seems like Dylan Raiola wants to do the same. His play has been up and down. I'm a big Dylan Raiola supporter. I believe in his game. I think he's a really good quarterback, but the consistency has not been there. And for him to sit behind Dante Moore, that's what it presumes to be. For him to sit behind Dante Moore, learn that Oregon offense, learn how to be a better pro, a better college quarterback, I think it's going to help for his development and his ability to be a really good quarterback down the line. His abilities are still there. I don't want anyone to, people like to make fun, fake Patrick Mahomes, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But when you turn on the film and you watch this guy play on a football field, you see the throws he makes, you see the type of things he does. There's a reason why he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and I stand on that. No Dylan Raiola slander over here. And we'll do one more. I think I talked about Nick Marsh going to Indiana. That was a big pickup for them. Terry Moore, very productive safety for Duke last year. He got banged up toward the end of the year. I think he missed some time right before the ACC championship. But this is a good pick for Ohio State. Ohio State, they've done a really good job so far in the portal. James Smith from Alabama, like I said, too, as well. But they also got Earl Little Jr., and he was a former Alabama player. You saw him in that week 1 game when Florida State played Alabama. He made hits from the first play of the game. And you need a guy like that that's going to go downhill. It seems like Caleb Downs is going to go to the NFL. You have a safety. He's not going to replace Caleb Downs, but he can definitely play football at a high level, make those plays. He's experienced, so that's good. He's played in 2 different leagues, the SEC and the ACC, now going to the Big Ten. I like what Ohio State has done so far in the portal. We'll see what happens, but as for now, that is our transfer portal update. Thank you so much. Keep liking, keep comments, keep sharing. Love you guys. God bless. Peace.